What is up, guys? It is Shiesty, and we're back with another video and some more KvK action. Real quick, just starting off, I'm looking at this other trap here, and I think she was about 155 million and already got hit a couple times and dropped a little bit, but we got a couple other people coming in here hidden. So let's see, drops pretty good amount right there, and then gets hit with a second hit and drops 3 million. The gear is mediocre, but they obviously capped everything, and I believe they got a ransom for all those leaders. But yeah, so that was good on them. Capped a bunch of big people, Marshall, Boast, all big people, and I think Marshall's got 850 infantry, so they're all big people, obviously. But I think it's right there. I'm basically pleading for this person to put a decent ransom so that everyone can get their leaders back, because I want to be gangbanged like that. I want I want them to throw their leaders at me as well. So anyways, I didn't get hit by any of them specifically, but here we have Diesel coming in and he's testing me. So I think he was sending infantry right there, and for some reason I'm just struggling. I probably shouldn't. I should make the cursor like disappear for the recording, because the cursor really just shows how frantically I'm scrambling during like every single encounter here. So it'd probably look better if I didn't have the cursor flying across the screen. But anyways, Diesel's a really heavy hitter, and he's got, of course, 5 familiars, all the good stuff. That was, so I countered him, right? And I didn't take any res, which is great. I don't know if there was, I don't think there was T5 in there. But anyways, he was just testing me out a little bit here. I was just trying to get kills and points. He sends another march in here, and this time it is Cav, right? And so I go in to switch my gear, but I don't switch my gear in time. And look, I burn Cav on Cav because I didn't switch my gear in time. I took a lot of damage too. He barely walked back, but yeah. So that was pretty crazy, and it was kind of I kind of joked around with him for a second here, but because he didn't know I had a T1 frontline or anything, and so messed around a little bit, but he was really cool and just eager to test me out. He didn't have enough Lunite to test with T5, which was fine. And the thing is, I wasn't really like testing. I didn't really like. I'm not like studying these reports or anything, because it is the T1 frontline after all. So it's not going to be my regular composition fully. That's why I'm having him test. I'm taking these dead happily taking these dead troops, is because they're T1s, or they're supposed to be. So so I'm just kind of doing it for free kills, free points. He's getting plenty of kills out of it too, and probably plenty of points. So it's kind of like a win-win. He's just killing off his troops. Anyway, so I asked if he wants to do it again. This time I'm going to switch into gear, right? I will be down the 600,000 troops or whatever that he killed, but I just want to see how big of a difference it makes with the gear on, because I wasn't expecting to burn. That's just a T4 march. There's no T5 in there, and it's kind of surprising to me. But Cav does do a lot of damage, so it makes sense. It still caught me off guard though, and I had plenty of time to switch too. I'm just bad at the game. I'm just bad at trapping. Anyways, I'm checking my infirms as I come back real quick, because I definitely don't want to take a hit with full infirms. That's just inefficient. But switching to my gear this time, just in case he sends like a range march or anything, I gotta be ready, because you never know. I'm honestly impressed with how trustworthy the Lord's Mobile community is when it comes to like everything in terms of, for instance, like ransoms, right? Like I don't have any doubt that I'll get my like 15,000 gems or whatever when I release her lead or anything. It's pretty, like, I mean, you have to be careful a little bit for resources and other stuff, but in general the community is really solid and trustworthy, and it is really surprising. Now every once in a while you will get titans that'll sneak up on you and try to test you, but hit you a couple times with multiple people. But that I'm surprised doesn't happen way more often. I'm surprised like Diesel doesn't just smack me with range real quick and catch me off guard, because he could easily do it. But anyways, now that like rant's over, I capped that one, and it definitely did a lot better with gear on, say the least. So noted. But countering is definitely more important still. The difference here is just the fact that I have a T1 frontline that I'm trying to take. So I mean, like, you know, so I would have obviously taken that cav march in range normally, but I'm trying to kill off my T1, so I took it in cav. But he's gonna send a range march here, so I'm waiting. I'm getting a little worried because I feel like he's just gonna smack me with cav. He'd be like, he's gonna say he's gonna send range, which would make it obvious I'm in inf failings, and then just smack me with some cavalry. Anyways, I check the march. It is of course range. I'm in gear. I'm in failings. All that. Take the hit pretty easily. It does actually do quite a bit of damage. I don't know how much damage it would regularly do. I don't know if it'd be similar. It'd probably be like 300,000, I'm guessing, maybe 400,000 with without the cav, because T1 obviously are gonna die a lot quicker, but it still did really good damage. Anyways, this is a 2 bill sneaking up on me, and I don't even get to switch gear in time, and so that was a little scary there. He just snuck up out of nowhere. He's done that twice to me, but well, he's done it twice to me while I was on the forest, and he's poured a little ways away and then sped up to me before I could swap gear and smack me twice. But I did ask for it. I was planning on getting hit by him. I just didn't expect him to like sneak up like that, which is fine. I was on my phone. I wasn't paying attention, so I didn't have time to really counter anything. But I come back and I ask for round 2, and he decides that's not in his best interest. Anyways, we have Dixie coming now with an imp march, and once again, I do not get to swap in time. I don't know what my issue is. I think I'm just a little slow in general. But I am not very good at swapping. And the thing here is, for instance, Dixie, I knew they were in inf gear, so I wasn't worried about the failings. On the other hand, though, the last guy, he could have gotten range and smacked me. I got lucky and he didn't. But yeah, I knew Dixie would be in infantry, and Dixie's a pretty big player, 73 stars, I believe, and obviously T5 familiars and everything, but a really thick player in general. And then here is B2X. I was really hoping I could get some action out of them. I know the other chap did, there's in the kingdom, but the most I got from him was like a tester march and like one. I believe I kept one of them. But other than that, they were pretty passive, and it was kind of unfortunate. Maybe I'm just too big of a trap. They don't, or maybe they just weren't feeling it. Maybe it was just the off time for him today. But this guy, he's pretty low might, but he's pretty stacked account. He goes ahead and sends a tester in. Doesn't follow up any further. But here I am on my trap, just spectating the fort battle, right? Just doing my own thing, and I get an enemy army invading, and then sped up, and I see it's Bicycler, which is a 2 billion might that already burnt me before. And he is sitting right next to me. But luckily, that was a tester march. I'm kind of freaking out a little bit. I switched my hero, just kind of set it up a little bit to take a real march, because he could have just smacked me, and I see he's in range gear, so I real quickly switch back to my infantry failings, because I don't want to take range on T1 cap. But well, you'll see here in a second. You don't always get what you want. Anyways, I'm just waiting and seeing what's happening here. I do like again, for instance, this is not a stage test or anything. So if I cap him, I get his leader. And 80 stars, he's a pretty big player. Of course, gold gem, a couple mythic pieces as well, I believe. But so this guy's got pretty high stats. And I'm just waiting, see what he's gonna do, what his next move is gonna be. He might solo the guy next to me. Who knows? The guy next to me is like 200 million might. But I switched back to Trickster just hoping by chance that he might not have been able to tell us online or something. I just figured I might as well. It just gives him one more reason to hit me, you know? And it won't be that big of a difference in damage. Like, it'll definitely be noticeable, but I really just wanted to cap him and take a hit from him, so I was willing to take a couple extra dead for that. Not as much as I planned on, but I see him in cavalry gear there, so I switched to a range phalanx. Kind of just trying to, you know, read him, see what's going through his head. And checking. I switched to cav. Oh no, I believe I switched to cav here in a second. I don't know if he switches to inf gear or if he. We'll see. 80 stars. It's pretty thick. Let's see what happens here. So my buddy runs away. He's not wanting that. Understandable. So he switches to imp. So I switched to cav real quick, and then I switch gear. But since it's T1, I burn, right? Now this is actually crucial. This is very good for me, right? I barely took any damage because it's all T1, but that was very crucial for the following actions. So he set to rally on me because I burned, so he's gonna go back in for seconds. So I go ahead and heal, and also since I burnt, someone else came along and joined the party, right? So now Pisco and someone else was also sending, but they recalled, is joining in on the fun. So now I'm getting an extra hit or two on, and he filled my infirms, but as you'll see here in a second, he literally filled it by like 1,000 over, like 1,000 dead, and he countered me. So this guy's a relatively, like, he's a medium player. He's got 5 familiar slots, but he's got both the T5 familiars maxed, I believe. But he definitely isn't any Titan grade or anything, but he does, you know, deal a good amount of damage. He did counter me though. I was an imp and he hit with cav, obviously, with really good cav gear, but he might not have like Jules max or something like that. You can only assume, really. But I go ahead and set a ransom out there if he wants it, because I know these guys like to oh, I'm getting scared, so I switch, and this is the scary one here. So that's a big yikes. I was in cav for after I took that one from Bisco, and so whether Feisker knew what he was doing or not, he went with range, and it worked out fine because that means I capped him. But I took a little bit of losses there. You see, it hurt a little bit. But when you look closely, I actually only took about 500,000 T2 cav. That's the only like real damage, because again, the T1 I don't care about. And he sent another attack, so I'm checking it. It's just T2, and he decides, I don't know what was going through his mind here, but I guess maybe he just wanted to even out. Since I got 1.4 million dead, maybe he just wanted to even out and give himself 1.4 million dead. Obviously, I'm kidding, because he wouldn't know how much I had dead there, but I really don't know what he was playing with this. It's not like he was even doing a relatively substantial amount of damage, and we got someone else joining the party, just checking in, so I gotta try to bait them a little bit here. But yeah, back to the 1.4 million dead for me. Again, the million of that, roughly a million, was T1. I again couldn't care less about, because my whole goal was just to get rid of my T1, and so again, those don't count as losses in my books for the situation specifically. But I did lose 500,000 T4 or T2. I mean, because my sanctuary was full. And that's roughly 100,000 gems to build back with the no manners, all infirms and stuff. So it's a little expensive, but I mean, it didn't hurt. I see that the other guy's sending, so I go ahead and swap gear, barely in time. But I was already ready to counter him because of his range gear. I had the phalanx set up. But one thing I do need to work on is checking the castle instead of the march, because the march takes an extra like second or two to process, you know, if they're sending cav or whatever, because all the buffers make it confusing. Whereas gear, you can just see instantly, and you can see it before they send 90% of the time. the one thing about gear that rubs me wrong is the fact that they can switch. Like they can walk in F gear and then switch to their like range gear or something to trick you. But I don't think that happens very often. Anyways, we're checking out this report real quick. He hit me with range on him, so he didn't do very much damage. But some free kills, free leader, keep the attention and action on me so that I can hopefully follow up some more. And I go ahead and suck it up and delete a couple of these old reports that I'll never look at again. Just so I can make some room, because I want to be able to count how much Shiesty sends to me and see how many dead he really got, which I don't know off the top of my head how much dead he got, but he sent a ton of T2, like 300k each, obviously. I just don't understand why. It is really funny. I don't know what was going through his mind, but anyways, go ahead and message Pisco now that I've got some peace and quiet for a second, and ask him, you know, what does he want? What sounds fair? Because I want him to get his leader out of my prison and keep on with his KvK. 1, so I can have the chance to hit him again. 2, just so he can keep going, because there's no real reason. Let's say he it's a 15,000 gem ransom is all I asked, which I feel like is relatively low, or at least fair. It's not high in my opinion, but anyways, let's say he's gonna pay that 15,000 ransom, but instead I try to play hardball and wait 30 minutes, right? All that did was just prevent him 30 minutes of action, which sure is fine for my kingdom, but like, who really cares about gems? I'm just trying to, you know, spread the enjoyment per se. And if I can just be a little more straightforward and reasonable, then, you know, it can make the experience go by quicker, or the downtime be less. And so it was real quick. It gave me 10 relocators. I went ahead and released, and as simple as that. Just give a little emote and hop out of the guild back into the other one. Nothing more, nothing less. I probably could have got more out of him. I mean, he didn't actually do any damage to me. He did 1,000, so I didn't feel the need to charge him any. I'm just happy that he gave me some free kills, let me kind of test where I was at. But that's coming towards the end of this video now. I've left it on the screenshot just to show how cheap Shiesty is trying to be. I said 50,000 gems because it'd be 100,000 to repair from his damages, his T2 damages specifically. And he said, keep it with you. So I said, will do, basically. And if he has a better offer, just let me know. And he said 300 million gold. So I just like said no. But anyways, you'll see in a little bit. But he ends up paying 1 billion gold. So he waited about an hour, then realized how rough it'd be without his leader. And so he paid it forward. That'll be in the next video at the beginning, hopefully. But as for this video, that is going to be it. It's a little bit longer of a video, so let me know if you like longer videos. But yep, we should be able to get 1 or 2 more videos out of this KvK, including my main account and the rallies went on there. But it was a pretty good KvK. The mini trap didn't get any action. It barely got 3 scouts. So unfortunately, there's nothing coming from there. But the other 2 accounts did real good. So that is going to be it for this video, guys. Thank you so much for watching and getting to the end. Make sure to like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace out. Go.